Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. I am Joanna Rolick, the Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the first to be able to welcome you to our event today, which we're very, very pleased to have such a subject of interest and to have such a wonderful collection of people who have come to join us. So, from where I stand right here, I'm looking around the room, and this is such a, as I say, a fabulous cross-section of people who, number one, are very active in both education and in the business community and in other realms. But also, it's just wonderful to see so many people who are coming here to hear the message today. Because I can tell you that for myself, and if you'll indulge me just a minute, I have been involved with the College of Lake County for more than 2 decades. And it started with a past board member of the chamber who said basically, I have just been made the CEO of X. I'm going to be moving out of the area. I'm involved with the College of Lake County. Would you be interested in my suggesting that you take my place on the South Lake Advisory Board? And I said, well, I'd be delighted to. I had heard about South Lake, of course, and I thought that would be a wonderful way to be able to give back. And so I did. And I started on the South Lake Advisory at that time. And I have been on it ever since, and we have the phenomenal leadership of Vicki and her staff at the back there that have been unbelievable. And I was asked to do a presentation back then for the trustees of the College of Lake County. It was a strategic planning initiative way back then, and I was asked to speak on behalf of South Lake because the president of the board could not be there. And I did, and someone came up to me and said, have you ever thought about being on the foundation board? I said, why no? And they said, would you like to? And I said, sure. And I have been on the foundation board as well ever since. And I can tell you, over these years, the transformation that I personally have seen in the College of Lake County has been nothing short of, I'm not going to say miraculous, that's not it, but it has been so inspirational because all of us look at the College of Lake County and look at various entities, whether it's Lake Forest College, whether it's the high school. We look at various entities and we have a definition in our mind of what it might be and what it offers. But I will tell you this. In my mind, the definition of what the College of Lake County is has changed so dramatically over the course of my tenure with it. And I see it as being of such help to so many. We have here in this room employers. When I think of auto repair, when I think of various trades, when I think of physical therapy and support for physical care, the certifications, and I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but it's something like 49 different degrees and 120 plus certifications that CLC offers. Wait, what? That's amazing. That is workforce development in action. But even more than that is the fact that what it offers is not only, and I'm not diminishing it by putting it that way, but there are people that say that it is college for those who might not otherwise get to college. The answer is, yeah. But you know what else it is? It is enrichment and resources for everyone. And when we look at our youngsters who need, I'm looking at Kate now, who's talking about her 7th grader in Lake Bluff, right? But when you think about what the kids know about life beyond academia, that's what this is. This is an introduction to what happens beyond getting through the academics. This is an introduction to what kinds of careers are out there. If really I'd like to get my degree, but I would like to do something with my hands, or I would like to help people, or I would like to try different things. And the answer is there's a way to do it. And there's a way to do it in our backyard. And there's a way to participate in nonprofit initiatives. And there's a way to be part of the greater community that community college represents. So that's my little spiel. And I feel very passionate about this. And I'm sure you can't tell. But this is a wonderful way to be able to launch the conversation here about partnerships between all these wonderful educational initiatives and all of you and the college and the county. So Let me give you a little background. I'm also going to tell you to please take one of these QR code sheets that we call them, because we have some information about some upcoming things that we have going on with the Chamber, and also to our sponsors. And one of them is Bruce Himmelblau, who's doing the video recording today, and also Lake Forest Bank and Trust. But what I would like to do now is tell you a little bit about our guest speaker today. And it is, and I will ask you to please indulge me here too, because Lori, quite frankly, I was going to edit this a little bit, and I thought, no, because it's just unbelievable. So I want you to know who we're listening to today and who is driving so much of the change right now at College of Lake County, and who is in this room today because she'd like to hear from you, as would Allie, because you are the ones that help the college represent what is needed in the county. So Dr. Lori Suddick brings 18 years of experience working in 2-year college leadership and faculty roles to the College of Lake County, where she began serving as president on May 1st, 2018. From 2009 to April 2018, Dr. Suddick served as Vice President of Learning and Chief Academic Officer for Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, NWTC, in Green Bay, a designated leader college of Achieving the Dream. And in this role, she provided inspirational and strategic leadership to build a culture for equitable student success outcomes and solutions for workforce and economic development. She has presented at the national and state level on multiple topics, including student success, integrated advising, systemic engagement of faculty, K-12 partnerships, flexible adult learning, and alignment of credentials with the labor market needs. Dr. Suddick was one of 40 exceptional leaders selected to the 2016-17 inaugural Aspen Presidential Fellowship for Community College Excellence. She is engaged in national initiatives focusing on advancing student success, including the American Association of Community Colleges Guided Pathways Project and the Integrated Planning and Advising for Student Success Project through Achieving the Dream. She co-led the NWTC Frontier Set Network effort, a select group of colleges and universities committed to increasing educational and attainment while eliminating achievement disparities across race and socioeconomic status. At NWTC, Dr. Suddick provided visionary leadership on multiple cross-functional college-wide teams responsible for the design and implementation of full-scale, high-impact practices for student success. She led transformative student success efforts across 3 campuses, 5 regional learning centers, 4 specialty centers, and 4 regional technical academies in a 5-county district. She's experienced at building innovative and collaborative community partnerships with K-12, universities, and industry, spearheading cross-organizational initiatives to address the talent pipeline for the region. She's served on multiple boards for local organizations involved in education and workforce development, and oversaw the strategic development of credentials that offer both transfer opportunities for students and align with regional workforce needs. She demonstrated progress in strategic priorities and a fiscally responsible design, fostering a growth mindset within a revenue-constrained environment. As a first-generation college student, Dr. Suddick is passionate about the power of education in transforming the lives of individuals. She is committed to empowering and mobilizing talent within a high-performing, innovative, and purpose-driven organization that is responsive to its community, ensuring every student completes within its student-ready, inclusive environment. Dr. Lori Suddick, welcome to our chamber.
Well, thank you again for that introduction. I think the part I hope sticks with anyone, because the rest is just all the hard work we all do all the time. I really am here in Lake County to be a part of partnerships, so we're going to talk about that quite a bit here. But I am a first-gen college student, and I think something I like everyone to know about me, I have been here at College of Lake County for 6 years. And I am in community college work very much on purpose. I'm deeply passionate for the community college mission, which is open access. I'm sometimes perceived as an odd president because I reject so many notions about the systemic academic structures that have been designed and baked into our systems. So many times I'm just trying to break our system, but it's for the good, I promise. But as a first-generation college student, it can be a very hard place to navigate. And as an open access institution, we spend zero time worrying about whether someone is or isn't worthy of the higher education that they deserve. We meet them where they are, and we get them where they want to go. And if they're where they want to go is Stanford, great. If it's a local public university, great. If it's to the local workforce, fabulous. All of those are right answers. And that's what we're here to do at College of Lake County, and that's why I do what I do. I realized listening to that, it's outdated, but I have been in higher education for 25 years now. Began my career as a speech-language pathologist. This was not a direction I ever aimed at. I do feel very called to this work, and I deeply love the impact of what we get to do every day. So thank you. That I am going to have, we have two other individuals who will speak with me, so I'm going to try and get through my comments fairly expediently, but just a few things to frame up what we want to talk to you about. I hope that during this time, our goal is to provide you with some insights about how CLC is thinking about both our now and our future. I'm interested in sharing some examples with you about the actionable, transformative change efforts that we have underway, and I think I'm interested to know if they resonate with all of you. And through that sharing of our thinking and our doing examples, which Allie's going to share some things as well, I hope that everyone will walk away knowing something about CLC you didn't know when you stepped in the room today, and understand the CLC's part in being an asset here in Lake County in partnership with all of you. So those are our objectives. And I have to kind of go backwards just a little bit so that you can understand the story. There's a lot of new faces in this room for me, which is great, because I have always said if I'm in a room where I know all of the faces, that means I'm not doing a good job. Because a lot of our work is friend making, and so happy to see so many new faces and some familiar ones as well. But I just quickly want to frame, we are getting ready to sunset this 2024 strategic plan, which has been my life for the 6 years I've been at College of Lake County. I always share the story that I had the great opportunity to step into a college that did not have a strategic plan, and that was my first thing I needed to do, and then I got to launch it in the 50th anniversary year at the college. So that was a fun way to do that. But it's now time to sunset this plan that we have been working on, and we'll embark on a strategic planning year in this next fiscal year, which I'm very excited about because it's a very inclusive process with our community, our businesses, our students, our staff, our faculty. But when we launch this, and the important point I want to make off this slide, these are our 6 pillars we've been aiming at. We talk about it as the what we need to do, the how we need to do it, and why. And but when we started our journey of soliciting input from our community, our students, staff, faculty, business, industry, we went out with 3 aspirational statements. And every single input group, we started with that. Here is our aim. And so the things we shared that then caused the input to land on these things were these. We want CLC to be known as the higher education organization by which all others measure themselves, where every student succeeds, every employee thrives. That's where we stopped then, but now we've added so every business and community can grow. The second aspirational statement was we want CLC to be considered a premier solution provider for the community and recognized as a valuable return on your investment in us. And the third one is probably the challenge every community college faces, and this is why I appreciate being invited here today. because I haven't known a single community college that doesn't have a nickname. And it's the one of these notions of education I reject, in that we've somehow in American society normed that it's okay to judge different levels of education rather than valuing the moment of each within whosever educational journey it is. So I was at NWTC for 19 years, NWTC Nitwit College, right? So I spent 19 years undoing the myths that go with two-year colleges and helping people understand that sometimes an associate degree does in fact earn more than a bachelor's or a master's, just depends on what your field is. Or that you can save $50,000 towards a 4-year degree by starting, and the people who transfer are more successful in completing their bachelor's than those who started at the 4-year in the first place. Data shows it. So those are myths we have to bust. And in CLC, our third aspirational statement was, CLC is a first choice because it's known as the college that launches champions, CLC, not the college of last chance, which is what I heard when I came. So it's pleasing to me that I have students coming to me in my hallways or alumni who come and tell me their champion story because it's sticking. And we do have amazing alumni and champions within our students. So those were our aspirational aims. When we started this, we established our definition of student success. We've formed our diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism statements as well in this. So it is very grounded in a lot of foundational aspects of where we need to go. We deliver out of our 3 campuses, which were in existence when I came here, and thank you to the South Lake team. We've added 2 new locations, the Advanced Technology Center, and we just did the grand opening for our Prairie Restaurant at Braylock, which is a student-run restaurant on Highway 45. And I'm not going to say more about those because Allie's going to address those later on. But just so you know, we are working hard to cause right things. And since our plan launched, that is what we've been doing, is taking our internal resources and making strategic investments, not only in capital things that meet the needs of our community or workforce, but also operational, to make sure that we're causing the right things on the inside that live to the aim we had, that every student will succeed. And our data is showing us through this plan we are moving in the right direction. So some of the achievements under this plan, I'm going to note just a couple. I'm not going to give you 6 years, but important things, I think, to the aim of this presentation around credibility of a community college, your community college here in Lake County. Through this strategic plan, one important accomplishment is CLC has been designated as a leader college within the Achieving the Dream Network. So what does that mean to people who don't work in community colleges? The Achieving the Dream Network is a nationally based network that drives evidence-based high-impact practices, transforms through all institutions in order to cause greater outcomes in equity and access and success for students. You do not achieve a leader designation just because you wrote a good application. You have to show data that causes a certain amount of improvements across multiple variables. And you don't get to keep the designation once given. You have to keep reapplying. So your designation lasts for 3 years. And if your numbers don't continue to grow, you do not retain that title. So CLC has achieved leader designation unusually within a 3-year period from joining the network. So we're very proud of that because we accomplished that through the pandemic, which means we didn't stop our momentum because fate decided to have a weird thing thrown at us. We will be aiming for the next level of that, and that's Leader College, a distinction in that network as well. So why did we get that? Well, it's because we're closing equity gaps. We have achieved several years in a row the highest graduation rates for the college in its history. We are closing the equity gaps across students. in a very significant way. I think that's what we're most proud of. Our transfer rates are also increasing within that. And we appreciate, I always feel like I should go to the Lake Forest College graduation because we have so many students graduating there. And so that's really exciting. And I love promoting those options for students. So the other things that we feel good about, we have deepened and expanded our relationships and partnerships within our community and with businesses. And that's much to the leadership of Allie O'Brien here. And then, as I said earlier, facility improvements, expansions. We put up as an example the new 5-story building at our Lakeshore campus. If you have not been there, please come. Beautiful view of Lake Michigan in our Eleanor Markey Community Center. But our objectives are to create spaces where our community comes in and engages with us. So those are some of the endeavors we've done. But that's where we are. And as we begin to think about where we need to go, if we really want to be that valuable return on investment and an asset to our community, what does that look like and how do we need to think differently? Our numbers are putting us in the right direction, but we cannot pause. And there's a lot of reasons why we can't pause. So I want to talk you through some of the current realities I think every one of us in this room are facing, and I hope they resonate with you. But before I share that, I just, this is a book that if you kind of have an interest to understand more deeply about community colleges as a national investment. Rachel Lipson and Robert Schwartz recently put this book out, and it's titled America's Hidden Economic Engines. And what I like about this book is it highlights case studies of community colleges and gives facts that I think help myth bust mindsets that are struggling to understand the value of community colleges, about the fact that in community colleges, more than any other entity in higher education, are going to address the needs that lead to the community and economic vibrancy that we all seek. The stories and the data in the book are reflective of CLC's journey over the past 6 years in our community and workforce responsive initiatives and some of our innovative, integrated strategic solutions that we're putting in place. As the slide shows, the book highlights, these are the facts. Community colleges serve the largest number of parents of lower socioeconomic tiers whose children then move to a higher socioeconomic tier. This book is based on the data of Raj Chetty. If you're not familiar with Raj Chetty, get familiar. It's pretty amazing data, and you can learn a lot about your own location. Community colleges serve the most racially diverse populations. With the diversification of our communities, this is a really important point. We are the ones that create that path to the universities for these students. We serve the most diverse age demographic, and we are the most affordable. So we're a path that causes good outcomes for all. So realities, and how do we get there? And in our conversations with our community over the past year, we've been talking about this tapestry we create. The background of this slide is, in fact, an actual tapestry we created at the grand opening of our Lakeshore campus that our community signed, our students signed, board, all of us got to write something. And then some of our art folks wove it together, and now it's hanging in the student center, which it's beautiful. And what I think it signifies is that there is no single entity that's going to get to the solutions that we need to solve alone. As a community college, we can bring a lot of things to the table. As a university, as a high school, as a middle school, as a business, you all bring things to the table. But none of us have all of the things it will take to be successful. And we know that being in unity with our community is our way to being stronger. I put myself through college, through my master's degree, working as a deckhand on a boat. That's how I met my husband. He was the captain, which is a fun story to tell after 36 years of marriage. But I share that because as a deckhand, I often was working with lines. Had to tie up the boat. Often we were dealing with strong winds, strong waves. And you learn in doing that work that a single thread line is not as strong as a woven line of many threads. Or if you take the time, rather than tying a knot, and you use a fid to weave your threads together to form the eye that you're going to put over to tie up the boat, it's a stronger way. Weaving it and integrating it together, threading things together builds a stronger system. And that's what we're trying to do, is to be a part of a stronger system as we play our specific role. So in that book, there are case studies demonstrating that community prosperity, economic growth, through talent supply, creating a talent supply requires an all-in engagement of an ecosystem thinking, doing, planning, and being. So as a leader in a community college, my working theory of change, as well as my leadership philosophy, is anchored in this weaving and tapestry mentality. Didn't leave me when I left the boats. Achieving success within and navigating the realities that we're facing and the things challenging our communities and our workforce will require us to be an integrated ecosystem. Strategic partnerships on steroids. Okay. So let's talk about what the significant challenges are that we see. They're yours too. Demographic shifts. Who's heard about the demographic shifts, right? Okay. Then this is where Amani gets to be like, okay, I can own the world in the future. But boomers are heading out. There's not as many Gen Xers following behind them. Think of all of the variables that are now created in that. And the pandemic accelerated the retirement pace of Xers. So we have millennials coming up and Gen Z, and our populations aren't matching. Our working age population right now is very challenged. We are going to have people being placed into leader roles that are going to be coming up a lot faster than any of us ever did. They will not bake as long and gain as much experience before they're being put in a position to make decisions I'm making today. That changes our thinking about how we're preparing people. But there just simply aren't enough people. So scarcity of talent, I think, is going to drive the development of integrated initiatives and partnerships, because what we have to do, we've talked about it for a long time, but what we have to do is get serious about tapping the untapped potential in our communities. And quite frankly, that's where community colleges are good. Bringing someone that was previously incarcerated into productive employment is a necessary thing. Like, it's a must-have now. But resourcing that and the supports to do that look really different than a general path that we have. So as an example, that starts to shift our systems. We've seen this coming for a very long time. I've presented a slide like this for probably 15 years. And 15 years ago, I say, out there, it's going to happen. And now we're in it. Like, we're in the thick of it. And the reality is, and I'll just talk this through real quick, the red line is the unemployment level. The blue line is the number of job openings. In 2018, unemployment level went below number of job openings. So if we have felt like it's super duper extra hard to find people, it is. And when I speak to the business industry, I say, you have to stop thinking that our high school students just don't want to work. I have met some absolutely brilliant high school students. In fact, I know our great hope lives with them. I have 20-somethings as children, 3 of them. They humble me every day, but boy, they teach me so much. And I find we really don't value their insights because they are framed right. They can inform us. But this problem, we have to start behaving different. And for colleges, we're thinking about this affects our talent, even to run a college operation. I know it's affecting business and industry talent pools, but it's also going to have an enrollment impact. So these things are, for us, pushing on fiscal sustainability thinking. The other thing we're thinking about is the Lake County data. We know that the population, the working age population, is declining and has been. The very population that we need in the workforce, meanwhile, the high school cliff is here. So we are now at a point in our high school population that we've known is coming, that we are in the years that we have peak, and from here on out through 2031, we decline. Illinois looks particularly bad. I can never remember. We are projected to have a 24% decline in high school population. I don't think we're going to get that much in-migration. And if the babies aren't already produced, this doesn't change. So we don't have as many people in the workforce, and there are not as many people graduating from high school. We have to think differently. Real quick, this is Raj Chetty's work, talks about the fading American dream. The other thing pressing on all of these things I've already mentioned is just the one point. 90% of children born in 1940 grew up to earn more than their parents. I think it's probably the part of the story of most of us sitting here, right? Today, only half of all children earn more than their parents did. So not only do we have less people, we have more people in a lower socioeconomic tier who have less access to the things that actually cause them to get up into the higher tier. Job projections tell us educational attainment is a necessity in the future workforce, which has been a trend coming. And this graph kind of gives you a sense of what that will look like across each of the states. In Illinois, 69% of jobs will require workers to have some post-secondary training. So unless we're working as an integrated tapestry, the outcomes that are needed to help make sure those things are happening will not occur. So couple quick points before I introduce someone to you. So my prediction is the scarcity of talent will drive us to create those right programs. We need to keep talent local. Doesn't mean we won't want people to go to where they want, but how do we keep the good talent here too? And how do we start changing the narrative, the myths and the beliefs? And that's why we invited Amani today. So Amani Yousuf, we read her editorial, and I absolutely saw an attempt in this young individual who I didn't know at the time in changing the narrative, shifting the mind. So I'm going to invite Amani up to read her editorial. And when she's done, I want to talk briefly about how this is what shifts in our thinking are happening before I introduce Allie. So Amani.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a senior at Lake Forest High School and the opinion editor for the Forest Scout, which is our high school newspaper. I specialize in column writing, and in class, my job is to encourage other staff writers to tackle more opinionated pieces. So another story that I wrote was normalizing in Columbus Day to be called Indigenous Peoples Day, along with this one and a few others. And I'm really proud to be recognized for this piece because I wholeheartedly believe that community college is not a worst case scenario. So without further ado, here's my article. If you're listening to this, you're probably slightly in shock, but let me let you in on a little secret. You're not too good for community college. In a town that sends at least a few graduated seniors to Ivies and other elite universities annually, whether you're a student, faculty member, parent, friend, or so forth, the thought of attending anything besides a four-year university is basically unheard of and is unfortunately widely regarded as a failure. That couldn't be farther from the truth, and it's high time we change that narrative. As tuition for college continues to increase, people are finally recognizing that public community colleges are practical, effective alternatives to four-year universities and colleges, especially in a post-pandemic world where 6.2% of LFHS graduates from 2020 to 2023 went on to a public two-year college, according to data provided by the Guidance Office. Why? Because of the many benefits community colleges offer. The first one is the cost difference. To put this into perspective, Illinois community colleges are nearly 1/3 the price of public Illinois universities and 1/9 the price of private universities. U of I in-state tuition is approximately $18,000. Out of state is approximately $36,000, and while the average Illinois community college costs $5,000. The second reason is the support to transfer. No matter the reason, for students who are unable to attend a four-year institution immediately after high school, community colleges provide students with ample support to transfer. Since most community colleges don't offer bachelor's degrees, students can avoid the tuition of a four-year university or college for a year or two and then go on to earn a four-year diploma. Through the U of I system transfer guarantee, if students from an Illinois community college meet the requirements, they are guaranteed admission into any of the University of Illinois system locations. The requirements include being enrolled at an Illinois community college after graduating from an Illinois high school, earning at least 36 graded transferable semester hours upon application to any of the U of I locations, attaining a minimum of a 3.0 GPA in all transferable courses completed by the application time, and fulfilling the English language proficiency requirement of the university. And finally, regardless of your future, the third reason is regardless of your future reasons or plans, community college gives students a fresh start. After years of guiding kids through the college process, counselor Megan Miles shares a student success story of transferring to U of I after 1 year at community college. He had no trouble getting to U of I as a transfer after 1 year of community college, where it would have been challenging to do so right away. But it takes bold students to go to community college, Miles said. If a student had a rough freshman or sophomore year that can impact their overall GPA, a community college erases your high school transcript. Once you have a year, possibly two, they're looking at those grades only. They'll merely glance at your high school transcript, but they will be mainly using your community college grades for higher education. But despite the numerous advantages of attending community college, the stigma lives on. Amid the tension, disappointment, and excitement with college decision season, Miles also stressed how the embarrassment of attending community college isn't a phenomenon unique to Lake Forest and Lake Bluff. This is a societal issue. It's not just in our community. In America, college is an indicator of success. As parents, our biggest fear is wanting your kids to be okay. There's this idea that those higher-end colleges are going to give their kids better opportunities, but in reality, while they'll give some good opportunities, there's so many places to start, including CLC. But what's the catch? The freshman year of college experience. The decision to attend community college likely means sacrificing that new chapter of exciting classes, meeting new people, going to a faraway place that many of us have looked forward to throughout our high school career. Picture like a Alabama or UMich football game. But ultimately, I understand the appeal of experiencing freshman year of college at a four-year institution. However, the reality is that we need everyone to carry out their educational journey, whatever it may be, to contribute to the overall success of the country. Everyone has a different path, and it's high time we see community college for the viable option it is, not a worst-case scenario. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I unfortunately have to give it to physics, so I have to go, sadly. I really wish I could miss it, but I unfortunately can't. Thank you so much.
Physics. Well done. Thank you, Amani. Oh, isn't she delightful? Okay, I'm going to make just a couple of quick comments, and I'm going to hand it off to Allie because I do want you to hear about some of our new and exciting things. But yeah, I mean, she's breaking the narrative, and I think that is what we need to do. And I want to emphasize her last point. Everyone has a path. As a parent of 3 children, anyone who works with classrooms of people, every learner is different. Everyone has their unique path. As a parent and an educator, for my 3 unique children, they each had a very different path. My oldest knew he wanted out of the house, in a different state, big city, small college, private. Great, you got scholarships. Happy for you, dear. And he's flying ever since. My daughter said, I am terrified. I am not going away. What? And we said, that's fine. Your mom happens to work at a really great college you can go to and then transfer, which she did after a couple of years of gaining some confidence as a student, like, I can do this college stuff. And my youngest son is still figuring it out. He's done parts and pieces. And so his path is not yet defined, and we're working on that. But the paths are all different. And I hope that we can value for everyone what that journey is. And I am here as a partner to celebrate every university. I will never position myself as a competitor. There's no value in that. And I think our journey together can be strong if we all hold on to that. Quickly, so making the shift, I mentioned this earlier. So a couple of things that we're thinking hard about, given the realities we shape. 10 to 15 years ago, the things that we're doing in higher ed then were new and great, and now they are the norm and outdated. Mental health services was coming in as a new thing 10 years ago. Now it's expected. The delivery of mental health services is expected. The delivery of holistic supports for students, expected. So we can no longer claim those as the big wins. So now we have to find our new way. And so challenging ourselves to how do we do that? And that does require us to break some of our own structures. But at CLC, as we're doing our transformative work, we're doing that through these 3 frameworks that I'll just briefly mention, because so much of the other things we're doing are forming through these. But we're operationalizing these 3 frameworks that support our strategic plan. So we have our Student Success Framework, which is known as the Lancer Success Framework. That is all born out of my guided pathways work that Joanna introduced me with. I just took great evidence-based practices that I know will work and built them into our system here, and then scaled that into the other areas. You cannot have student success without faculty success. Faculty are at the center and core of making sure students can be successful. So we have our Faculty Success Framework, which is grounded in teaching and learning excellence. And then we have an Employee Success Framework. So from the point that people touch us to the time that they finish us, what is that very intentionally designed journey that we measure against? And what are we seeing as a result of the implementation of these frameworks? I'll just briefly mention, we completely transformed our onboarding and first-year experience for students. That is including our college career navigators who are embedded in high schools, primarily the high schools that are in the areas of greatest socioeconomic need. So we don't cause students to have to try and find us. We're there where they are. And we're talking to their parents too. We know that students who are talking and working with our college career navigators, and let me say this, my commitment to every superintendent where we have a CCN, because my objective isn't an enrollment at CLC. And I know that's what a lot of people think. But my promise and commitment to every superintendent is our objective here is shared. Our objective is to get these students on a path to a college education. I really don't care if they end up at CLC or not. I care that they end up somewhere. on a path, an apprenticeship, coming for a short-term or long-term credential, or figuring out that they need to go to a certain university. All of those are right. But we know for those touching CCNs, 75%, those who touch the College Career Navigator, 75% end up enrolling. Those who did not meet with a College Career Navigator, 29%. These are students who declared an interest in CLC. So our CCNs are mattering to the pathing of students in that transition to college. We also transformed our academic model. So we have academic success advisors that's under a case management model. So it's not a random chance which ASA you get. You're assigned one and they follow you. That's building out of social work practices. And we know that students who are touching our academic success advisors, they're completing or retained at 87.9%, as compared to 50.2% for the students who didn't meet with an ASA. So these are the transformative initiatives. There's others I'm not going to mention, but just so you know, we have to build integrated systems inside of our institution, and this is my example of that. And we also need to build integrated systems on the outside. I'm going to mention one, and then I'm handing it off. College of Lake County, Lakeshore Campus, the Workforce Development Board's Job Center is on our campus. It has historically been a model of leaser and leasee. We have a lease, and they rent space from us. And Jennifer Serino and I have decided that's a really terrible design. And we're in the process of breaking that mold, because what this should be is an integrated governmental agreement where it is irrelevant if a community member is touching her staff or my staff. It's what's the right service they need in the moment, and they get it. So we're looking at how do we blend our services, and through that shared resource design, everyone wins in terms of who's coming to the community. So we're trying to break the mold of what we do. And I'm going to have Allie come up and talk about some of the other molds we're breaking.
Thank you, Lori. So community and workforce partnerships is external engagement and connecting to all of you. And we have three big themes. The first is really that educational pathway and seamless transition of students. So I will acknowledge our Lake Forest High School partners who do dual credit with us, and we think about that integration and seamless transfer work. And then Lori's highlighted Lake Forest College, which on the other side of College of Lake County is that opportunity for students to have access to a bachelor's completion opportunity. The second big theme is cultural enrichment. We love to get engaged in communities and celebrate the diversity. And so I will also mention we have these amazing summer youth camp experiences that are really tailored to career exploration for elementary, middle, and high school students. I have some flyers on our table, so please take one of those when you go. We also have a beautiful and amazing James Lumber Center for the Performing Arts. So we always want to draw north, right? I know Chicago is a big pull. I understand that. I myself love that experience. But you have this local resource of talented students, but also professional touring series that you can experience right here in Lake County. And the third area is thinking about employer engagement and solutions for all of you who are business owners or running organizations. So I'm going to hit a couple of highlights. First, we'll recognize this amazing growth in dual credit, which is an opportunity for high school students to simultaneously earn their high school credit experience and start early on their college transcript. It is free to Lake County students. We saved families over $2.1 million last year in college tuition. Students enrolling in dual credit are being taught many times by their high school instructor who is qualified through the College of Lake County and aligned to deliver the college curriculum at the same time. It's this amazing experience for over 3,000 students in Lake County, and I think we're going to be close to 4 this year, I'm guessing, my prediction. So we've had exponential growth in this area. It's saving families and students time and tuition dollars to get started on that college experience. We like to talk about our portfolio of solutions for employers and businesses and community-based organizations around 3 big service areas at the college. So if you're looking for talent, we have a career and job placement center where you can post positions, participate in job fairs, hire an intern, get involved in our apprenticeship program. There's just a wide variety of ways that this solution can provide talent to you and your organization. So in the folders, there are some contact information for our Career Center. If you haven't engaged with them yet, it's a great way to kind of onboard into the college to meet our students and get connected with the amazing talent. We also have a way for your current workforce to be able to think about reskilling or upskilling or kind of meeting industry credentials or certifications that are high needs in your area. We can bring into you training and talent development solutions. So we have tailored offerings that can be highly technical. So if you're a manufacturer, you may need to upskill on a new machine. I was just talking with Max about that and a CNC machine that Lynch Construction has, and thinking about how CLC could come into their organization and do a train the trainer so they can be connecting with their workforce and upskilling them. You may have a need for project management certification or frontline supervisor training. So this service area of the college is all about connecting with you to hear what are your current needs for your existing workforce and how can we help you in that space. And finally, if you are a small business owner, which is so many of the wonderful members of the Chamber, we have an Illinois Small Business Development Center where we offer advising in highly specialized areas. If you are someone that is thinking about starting a new business, we're here to help you think about that business planning effort, being strategic, investing your resources wisely. Our Small Business Development Center has a cadre of advisors that are here to help you with that as well. I wanted to highlight our apprenticeship program, which we've seen great growth over the last 4 years. We now have served 137 apprentices as of last year. We currently have active 67 apprentices. And many times when we're talking about myth busting, people hear apprenticeship and they think very trades-based or construction. I will tell you our highest enrolled apprenticeship program is at our Southlake campus. It is in business administration and it is with Aon Insurance. You get hired full-time by Aon. You are earning a salary and benefits. 4 days a week you're working. 1 day a week you're going to the Southlake campus or you're participating in online learning. And you're upskilling at the same time that you've entered a career pathway with a Fortune 500 corporation. It's an amazing model. We're looking to replicate and duplicate that in many different spaces, as well as support those traditional what you would think of as trades-based occupations such as HVAC or CNC machining or industrial technology. So just a really diverse program that has evolved with the workforce needs. And we'd love to talk to you about that if you have interest. We also, as Lori has used the word integrated and ecosystem, we are highly connected to other parts of our community and county in ways such as Lake County Partners, our economic development agency, workforce development, higher ed partners like Lake Forest College, and then importantly, our K-12 space. We consider ourselves this workforce ecosystem because we are stronger together in meeting your needs. And so please know we have really intentional relationships across the spectrum that we can leverage for you and your organization. The Advanced Technology Center has been mentioned a couple of times. This was probably the most fun I've had in my career. We transformed the old Lowe's building in Gurnee into a highly advanced Industry 4.0 technology center. We've completed the first phase, a $34 million investment to date. I believe Joanna's in this picture, probably like right up front. I could probably point you out, Joanna. Here she is. She was there for the ribbon cutting that was non-traditional. It was, we welded apart, Lori, an instructor and a student, cut a metal ribbon. So we got very creative here. This is in response to the reality of our labor market data. Lake County is the second largest manufacturing county in the state of Illinois, over $48 billion in economic output. If we don't take care of this sector, if we don't take care of the supply chain and suppliers connected to this sector, we are not a strong county anymore. So this is a direct response to what we were learning. We are not producing enough talent in this space. And now we are starting to work towards that goal of producing enough talent in manufacturing spaces. We've had great engagement. The atrium within the Advanced Technology Center is this wide, bright, open space that's highly multifunctional. We've hosted board meetings. We've hosted robotics competitions. We host the Lake County High School Counselor Association. So all high school counselors, when they come to their annual meeting, they've been at the Advanced Technology Center before. We love to host field trips. So I know we're working and thinking about our middle schoolers from Lake Bluff being able to come to the ATC. We're just really proud in the first full year we were open at the energy and excitement that this center has provided. And we are intentionally creating that change that Lori described. We are seeing enrollment growth, we are seeing retention, and we are seeing completions. And just in the 2 programs alone that were at that are at the Advanced Technology Center, you can see these great percentages in growth in credit hours and apprentices. But the amazing thing is all our manufacturing-related programs experience growth because this project was about shifting perceptions. Manufacturing, not dark, dirty, dangerous. You walk in this space, you think you're at Google. You think you're at Apple. It is just an amazingly inspirational way to change minds around these career pathways. We also have this investment is in parallel to a new effort we have to create a regional manufacturing alliance where employers and those that participate as suppliers to manufacturers and businesses connected to manufacturing are going to be able to have a voice together as we convene a regional alliance to try to solve problems together. So it's another example of a community college kind of thinking non-traditionally of what our role can be to strengthen partnerships. Being a convener is a really powerful thing. We're not making the solutions. We're not creating the solutions. But if we can help get everybody together to do so, it's a great strength of ours. We're in design mode right now for this beautiful urban farm center that will be in Waukegan on our Lakeshore campus. This effort was brought to us by a local funder who said, I'm looking for a home. I need a convener. And so we looked at this alignment to our strategic plan and to the mission that we are hoping to achieve within that community. And we said, great fit, let's take it on. And so we hope to fundraise $15 million towards this project so we can break ground next year. It will be a controlled environment space where up to 6,000 heads of lettuce will come out of this space per week. They will enter the local work economy in terms of being through wholesale, the student-run restaurant. They'll be part of produce prescription boxes because we hope to have a health and wellness component to this effort. This is a really multifaceted experience that is not just about sustainable agriculture or growing lettuce. This is so much more impactful because we're looking at the health outcomes data for the zip codes surrounding this urban farm center, and we want to make a difference because right now the average lifespan in 60085 is 11 years less than the rest of the county. And to me, when I talk about this project, I say it's unacceptable. We all need to come together and try to influence some positive outcomes and get some great job training along with it. And so this project, we hope to break ground next year and again, actively fundraising and have some amazing partners from the community we're sitting in right now helping us do that. Finally, Prairie at Braylock, Lori mentioned this. We just had a grand opening less than 2 weeks ago. We hope you come visit and see the work and experience the work of our students who are producing just this amazing food and culinary experience. It is right on Route 45 at the Braylock Golf Course. And so you can come visit us, and the menus are always online, so it's a good way to get connected to the college. Finally, you'll see some names and foundations and organizations here that we always want to pay a tribute to in thanks of their generosity because much of the work we accomplish is because of others, and so we're very grateful to them. And I'll end to say thank you. We are really glad for this time today. We'd love to answer questions. We'll be here afterwards if needed. And we hope we can connect. My card is in the folder. I talked to several people already. Please reach out. I hope to be a front door for you into those resources and organizations at the college. And with that, I'll say thank you, Joanna. I'm sure she wants to give the last word, so I'm going to hand it back to her. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you much for this wonderful presentation. Take care, everyone.